Florida, you already know quite well Dane Eagle. Dane's from Southwest Florida. He attended Florida Gulf Coast University and then ultimately the University of Florida, where oddly enough, he earned his degree in economics. So it's very fitting in the role that he's in now. Some of you may know also he served in the Florida House of Representatives, and I could tell you all about what he did, but I'll sum it up by saying he has a lifetime rating with the Florida Chamber of 95%. So he's an A-rated legislator long before he ended up being selected by Governor DeSantis to be the secretary for the Department of Economic Opportunity for Florida. And Dane, I know you're on the call with us, and I'm going to turn it over to you, but let me just add, we've had the blessing in Florida of not only having a governor and a surgeon general and many in the legislature who want to do what they can to help grow and diversify Florida's economy, but we're also blessed to have people like Dane who are incredibly accessible day, night, weekend. It's not uncommon to get a call from Dane on a Sunday evening, just to check in. Obviously, since he took over in September, Dr. Parrish and Dane have had several conversations and meetings. We've had several conversations and meetings, and oftentimes a group of local chambers will call me or Andrew or Jerry or Frank with questions we don't know the answers to, and then Dane is just always available, and he figures out a way to get us what we need to know so that we can quickly get it to you. So Dane, a month or so ago, we really started talking about what was going on in the economy. We were able to do some research for you, which we hope was very helpful. Many of the chambers that are on the call today are the ones who, dropped what they were doing on a Friday and went out and helped us get hundreds of responses so that you all would have really good intel. But Dane, thanks for joining us today. I wanted to introduce you to everyone in the event that somebody hasn't had a chance to meet you yet. We'd love to hear from you and get your thoughts on what's going on, especially with our workforce situation. And then, if time permits, we'll use our Q&A feature to see if there's any questions for you as well. But Dane, thanks for your leadership and thanks for being on the call. The floor is yours.
You got it, Mark. Thank you, and thanks to everybody at the chamber for allowing me to talk with you and the local chambers from across the state. And certainly do value the partnership. So thank you for highlighting that we share currently, but also past 8 years in the legislature. And as you said, 95% rating, lifetime rating. I must have missed 5% somewhere along the line. So I'll make up for it in this role. But that's pretty good to hear. Listen, as you stated, well, first, let me just start from the beginning. The governor asked me to join the Department of Economic Opportunity last September, and we were still, kind of through the throes of what was going on with COVID-19. The governor did a phenomenal job throughout it all, keeping the state open, and he did so against, the naysayers, the national media, nonstop, just accusing Florida of doing the wrong thing. And he stuck to it. He did what he knew was right. He's very data driven. He looked at the numbers and knew what was right for Florida. And I think time has proved that he made the right choices over and over and over again. And now we have an unemployment rate of 4.7%, well below the national average of 6%. So Florida is a bright, shining beacon of how to do things right in the country. And I'm proud to join his administration here at the Department of Economic Opportunity. We had our challenges, of course, when it came to unemployment here, and we've been working on that nonstop. We had a great session. Glad to see the tail end of Frank's presentation and a lot of the great things the legislature was able to accomplish when it comes to businesses and working closely with the chamber to accomplish those. But we were successful as well, at least from the department's point of view. We were able to get the funding we needed to modernize the unemployment system. Look, employers who are on here now, they pay into the unemployment. They want it to at least be done accurately and right. I'm sure that they had their challenges with it on the employer side too. The system was not built to do what was needed of it during the pandemic. But now that we know what's needed in a worst case scenario, we're going to make sure that it is up and running and ready. It'll be cloud-based, it'll be modernized, it'll be modular, it'll have the added security that's needed. So we're very grateful for that. And we got money for more staffing behind the scenes as well. So we're off to a bright new day here as the department is concerned. And we've had to pay out a lot of money for unemployment, $28 billion. That is a lot of money. We hate to see that was necessary, but it was. People were shut down through no fault of their own. But here we are now. We have a surplus of jobs in our economy, 450,000 jobs, and was very glad to stand with Dr. Parrish last week. I know most everybody else was at the board meeting in Orlando. So thank you to you all at the Chamber for adding to that press conference we're able to do to announce that we are going to, of course, have the work search requirements back in place for people who are on unemployment. Gone are the days where you don't have to do that. Obviously, the governor, I think, made the right decision at the dawn of the pandemic when businesses were shut down, people were out of work through no fault of their own. And then as the economy started to bounce back, we kept those in place. But now that's different. You go to any, we'll look at retail and tourism, but I don't think it's specific to that industry. But if you go to any restaurant anywhere, you're going to see signs that say we're hiring, where I've seen it even more drastic that says, please be kind to those who do work. We're dealing with the 2021 pandemic, which is unemployment, people not showing up for work or showing up for interviews. So we want to put an end to that. We obviously know that people were out of work through no fault of their own, but hey, now it's time to get back to work. We've got, that will go into place on June 1st. We want to build that in. The waiver will expire May 29th, I believe it is, Memorial Day weekend. So after Memorial Day, May 31st, June 1st, time to start searching for work again. And we put some teeth in that too. We put out through FloridaJobs.org. If you go to the help center there's an opportunity to report fraud in any number of areas. But one of those areas of fraud is people who are not showing up for work, showing up for interviews when they say that they should be. So we're going to allow businesses to report that back to us so we can fact check it. And if people aren't abiding by those work search requirements, they will no longer be eligible for unemployment. So look, the bottom line is that we want to help people. We want to help the economy. There are people who are still, maybe their job that they had before isn't available. We'll help them find another one. There's plenty of jobs out there. We'll work with CareerSource, help them find the training they need if they need to make a complete career change, or give them a glide path between now and June 1st to get out there and start hunting for jobs. But the bottom line, the reality that some of them will face is when these federal dollars finally do go away. Obviously, the federal plan right now is September. Some states are doing it sooner. We'll wait and see on Florida. We can get into that. The governor's studying the data. We're watching, we're studying. The bottom line is those federal benefits will go away someday. State unemployment is limited. It was 12 weeks in 2020. It's now 19 weeks in 2021. So some morning, people that are on unemployment are going to wake up. They're not going to be able to collect those dollars. And if they didn't find a job and took the time to do so, they're not going to have income either way. So we want to help them. That's our bottom line. Let's connect them with the jobs that they need. But we also had some great other work this past session. I mentioned modernization. We've got a workforce bill that was Speaker Sproul's priority. We at the department are in charge of now doing a study to see how our department, we've got to fix Connect. We want to make sure it links up with Employ Florida, but also Department of Education, DCF, CareerSource, all these other agencies that work towards prosperity, helping people find what they need, get a leg up and go out there and find the career that they need that's going to give back to themselves and their families. Sometimes all those systems don't link up. The data's there, but we can't always find it at the right time without having to go across the street and ask in this department, whatever it might be. So we're going to make sure that that data does finally sync up. So that's great. We also have the Office of Broadband here. Some businesses in rural areas or even underserved areas in some of the urban areas might deal with that. And we want to make sure that everybody has service. So those are a few of our legislative highlights, but very excited about working with the Chamber. And yes, one last thing, and then I want to ask, of course, if there are questions, happy to answer them. As Mark mentioned, as we were working with the governor and wanting to put the work search requirements back in place, the governor was asking, can we get data from businesses? How do we want to back this up? Obviously, we know there's jobs available, and we see the businesses, but let's get the actual data. First thing I do is pick up the phone, talk to Mark, talk to Andrew Wiggins, and say, can you get us this data? And you all did a fantastic job. And the businesses who were on here responded. We used that data to then go into that press conference with that information backing us up, knowing we were doing the right thing. So thank you for turning that around so quickly and participating in it. It does matter. It is important, and you're seeing the results of it right now. So that's great. I'm very excited about this partnership moving forward, but happy to answer any questions you all have.
Dane, hey, it's Mark Wilson. Thanks so much for that. And again, you sort of proved out what we were talking about. You're accessible, on same page, and we appreciate it. There are a couple of questions here, and I want to invite everybody to use the Q&A feature if you have any other ones. Dane, first question that we're getting a lot is, So with the work search requirement going away, one thing that's happening now is people are coming in, and these are my words, not anybody else's, but sort of fake applying, right? So they come in, they ask for an application, they sort of fill it out, and then they say, okay, now sign this so that I can basically say that I was looking for work. The question people have is, are businesses required, to sign those documents, right? And it's a tricky situation, but we have, the next question after that one is, what do you do if you have somebody that acts like they were applying, or you maybe even offered them a job, but they said, nope, I want to keep collecting this $300. I think you all were setting up a hotline for that. So A, does a company have to sign off on that just because somebody walked in? And B, what does a company do when they suspect that somebody's playing games?
That's a great question on the first one. I'll have to double check that. Are they required? I would think that the business is not mandated. You have a right to refuse that. That's going to be my guess. But let me fact check that and make sure that's accurate. Obviously, someone is, applying and they want to do the right thing. The business may want to help them out and say, yeah, thanks for coming. And by the way, your interview's next week. Now that's question B. If they don't show up to that interview, then yes, you should report them. It's not mandated that you need to report them, but we want to have that information. We want, not only is it helpful to have that data on how we hear about it all the time, but we want to see that data. Who is it? Who's not applying? Are they repeat offenders? How often does this happen? Is it regional? Let us get that information so we can study it. But also, if they're refusing suitable work, that is a violation of the contract, let's say, that we have with them when we're issuing unemployment. In typical times, again, the waiver was in place, but that's going away. In order to receive unemployment, you need to be able and available for work and prove that you are searching for work. This isn't a permanent vacation. This is employers who pay into it. It's an insurance program to help people bridge that gap between one job to another. So if you're not looking for that next job, you're not eligible for those funds. So definitely report that to us. I'll get the link to you all. I'm sure that you have it, Mark, through others there at the chamber, but it is floridajobs.org. Go to our help center, report fraud, and it's right there in a link there.
Yeah, Dane, that's incredible. I want to thank you very much for that, and we will get that link out to everyone. Thank you. There was another question that I think you answered, but I want to clarify. If someone's offered a job, a suitable job, and they turn it down, are they eligible for unemployment or not? So,
and the clean answer is no. Now, there are some circumstances where we get into the glide path of it. So right now you have 19 weeks of unemployment. If you apply for a job within the first 4 weeks, let's say you were once making $100,000 and this job pays you $40,000. Well, we may look at that and say, okay, you have another few weeks to continue applying to see if you can find something closer to what you were making. But by the end, as that unemployment goes on towards the end, you have to take a job, and that would be minimum wage. If you're not taking them, you may have made $100,000 before, but you're not finding that $100,000 job and you've been offered a job at minimum wage and you're towards the end of that unemployment time, yes, that's going to be a suitable job that you've turned down and you're no longer eligible. So there are different scenarios that we look at, but in the grand scheme of things, yes, if you're turning down work, it's very good chance that you're going to be, your unemployment is no longer eligible.
All right, copy that. And then a last question here, unless more come in. Question has to do with companies paying bonuses, for people returning to work. So I know some other states have, they're pulling out of the federal program and really converting that into a return to work bonus. And Dane, I'm actually not talking about that in this question. The question here from a chamber is, have you seen any experience that companies have had if companies themselves decide to offer any kind of a bonus, for signing on right now? Is it working? And do those people stay? Have you seen any of that? Can you comment on that?
I can't. I've only heard the reports that is being offered, but I haven't had discussions with actual businesses that are offering it. Now that question's been asked, that's usually when I go and find the data. So happy to work together on that. I'll talk to my team and see if they can reach out to a few others and see if we can get some answers there. That's a great question, though. We have heard it's happening. Is it working? I don't know.
Okay, got it. Anybody see any other questions that I'm missing? Okay. Well, Dane, listen, I know you're working overtime right now, and we all appreciate what you're doing, and I know you and the governor are analyzing, data, 15 different ways. And if you need more research, I know that every local chamber, in Florida wants to help you and the governor be successful. And I know we'll be talking, if not later today, sometime tomorrow. And keep doing what you're doing. And just remember, there's not a chamber in Florida that doesn't want to help everybody get back to work again. As we've always said, if you show me a strong community, I'll show you a strong chamber. And, every chamber on the call wants to partner with you to try to make sure the right things happen. So, Dane, please thank the entire team, that you have at your back. And on behalf of all of us on the call, thanks for joining us today. We hope you'll do it again soon.
I will. Thanks for the opportunity. See y'all soon.
You bet. Thanks, Dane. Take care. All right, everybody. So as we transition here, really in the final few minutes of our time together, I wanted to finalize. We have a couple of local candidate schools coming up, and then I want to go back to Q&A portion before